Hello everyone, this is Karthik again. Welcome to my channel. Today we try to focus on the concept of throw and throws keyword of exception handling. Before listening to this particular video, you just try to watch my earlier videos which explains about the fundamentals of exceptions and what is checked exception, what is unchecked exceptions, and how to handle the exceptions at compile time and runtime. So this video is completely focusing on throw and throws keyword. As we all know that exceptions are handled, so exception handlers are the ones who handle the exceptions either at compile time or runtime. So to handle any exception, we need the combination of a try catch finally, or we need the combination of throw and throws, or throw and throws separately. If you identify a few errors at compile time exceptions, we may come across an error saying that unreported exception, which is to be caught or thrown. Example, I just hit you with an example to understand this concept. So notepad space exception demo, notepad space exception demo dot java. So class exception demo 4, public static void main string args. So I just simply show you an example to understand. See, thread dot sleep of say 3 seconds. I just want to make the particular main method to sleep for 3 seconds. When I try to compile the program, javac space exception demo 4 dot java, immediately shows a good error, that is unreported exception saying interrupted exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. Means either you need to catch the exception or you need to throw the exception. In the earlier videos we have seen how to catch exception by saying try catch block and how to throw an exception. So if you want to catch an exception, we should need to have a try block and followed by the catch saying that interrupted exception space object, and simply I can say IE dot print stack trace. Print stack trace is a method which is used to print any kind of exception message from the stack. And I just try to print here, say exception demo dot java. Now error is gone, and java exception demo 4, and it waits for 4 seconds to complete the prompt. Done. So here we should identify that in order to handle this exception, we have kept try catch block. So if I don't handle with try catch block, I need to use another kind of weapon called as throws. So throws is a keyword which is used to determine. Throws is a keyword for handling exception at either compile time or runtime. Especially we use this at compile time. And where to use throws? Throws is a predetermined kind of handling exception. What is called predetermined kind of exception is you should be determined enough to write an exception prior to the uses of a particular method that might throw exception. Like in this program, if you feel that this program might throw an exception here, so it should be predetermined. So what kind of exception you may get in the particular program, say that exception should be thrown at the time of the method which you are using. For example, here itself throws interrupted exception, means the exception is thrown at the main method. Okay, hence now again you can say thread dot sleep of 3 seconds and just try to print something here, say sysout, print some name here, Karthik. Hence once we're done with this, we just need to again compile and check. After 3 seconds we get something like Karthik is printed. So this is a simple kind of program which illustrates the concept of handling the exception at compile time. This is the compile time exception, and which is handled by a keyword called throws. Throws is a keyword which is applied for this particular line of code to handle exception called interrupted exception. This is another way of handling exception prior to the logic at the time of the method. If you want another example, we can even take, say example, I just try to work on a file concept. Say example, create a method here, say public void example, say get data, and try to say this get data as public string get data. I just want to read the data from particular file and return the data as a string. So for this I just try to take a file reader space object fr equals to new file reader of, take a file, say example in D drive colon / csc dot text, and also pass to a buffer reader to read the data with the new line. So new buffer reader of pass file reader object into this. If you have any doubts regarding this file reader buffer reader, just try to watch my videos of Java IO package. So file reader, buffer reader, and these two are used to read a file and read the file into a buffer. From csc.txt, I just want to read the data. How to read? So br dot, I say readline. Br dot readline will obviously read a complete string from the file, and that string I just want to return. So simply return str, because I have set the method to return a string. If you want to just see this particular file, the file contains Karthik. If you want, you can even add something more to that, say Karthik Chandra Patnaik. Done. This is a file csc in D drive which try to retrieve the data from that csc.txt, read entire line as a readline, because readline is a method which is available in a class called buffer reader. These two classes are taken from a package called import java.io.star. See, once if you try to run the program, observe that what happens. Just run the program java c space exp demo4.java. See, fortunately we got some error here saying that maybe the problem is with, I did not get quotations here. This is a syntactical error, sorry. I want to see the error with exception. This is what accepting. See, we got again same kind of error, say unreported exception, that is file not found exception. Whenever I read a particular file, you should need to throw exception saying that if the file is not present in the directory, that means that the file we should need to throw exception called file not found. In the same manner, we got another error here, see unreported exception called IO exception. IO exception comes at this particular line because when I am trying to read the data from that particular file, if the data which I am reading is not present, or the data is not available to read, data is not accessible to read, that will create an exception called IO exception. These two exceptions are compile time errors which are need to be caught or which needs to be thrown. If you observe the error, file not found exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. So what I do is that simply I just say here throws. One is file not found exception, comma, and the one is IO exception. The main wonder here is that using throws keyword, I can throw any number of exceptions by keeping a comma separator. But unlike throw keyword, we are going to learn which can throw only one exception at a time. Throws keyword can throw any number of exceptions at the same time. See, I have just used throws keyword. I can use throws keyword here, or I can even use try catch block here. Once if I run the program again, look, we may not get any errors here. I can do same thing by saying that as I just keep comments here in the meanwhile. I can even handle this if again compile the program, I get the same errors as earlier I got. I can even use something called try catch block. So how to use try catch block is say this try open and say try close, say catch, use file not found exception, say FE. Same manner I can even catch another exception, say catch IO exception. You can write some logic here, a print statement here if you want, say system dot out dot print line file is not found MSS. The same manner you can even keep the message here itself, say read write operation problem. Okay, this is another way of handling exception. This is called using a try catch block. Earlier I have done using something like throws keyword. Both can be done. The main difference between them is try catch is kind of a block which is at the time of instance, means after seeing the logic, if the exception is required, I just tried the logic by keeping try catch block. But throws is a predetermined kind of throwing exception at the method. Using throws, I can throw exception at the time of method. Okay, of course same result you can even find for this example. So this is called a try catch block we have learned earlier in the examples. Okay, I just remove this. I'll go again back to my original program saying that throws keyword. So throws, so public string get data throws, file not found, and IO exception. Hope this program execute fine without any errors. Yes, it is. Now I just want to read this method. To read this method, we all already know that how to call the method. Simply create object first, xp demo4 space ed equals to new xp demo4 class, and simply say ed dot get data, and directly I just try to print here system dot out dot print ln of just print the statement. Means when I call ed dot get data, this will call this method and read the file and read the line from that file and print the string. The string will be printed here. Done. So this is an simple example. Again, I just want you to see another important error I can get here when I execute this program. Just have a watch on this. See, now when I again compile this, I have got another error. I have got same kind of error that was being seen at the main method. See, ed dot get data. The error is experienced at this line because again this when I call this method, this calls this method. Immediately these exceptions are thrown at this particular method. So immediately main is also a method which expects the same exceptions to be thrown at the main method itself. This concept we call it as exception propagation. The same kind of exceptions need to be thrown at the main method because this method get data is being called from the main method. So here itself we just copy this exceptions and paste it here. Done. So the same exceptions are again thrown at main method as well as get data method. Now I hope the error will not be seen. It will be perfectly done. Again, now run the program. Java exp demo 4. See, I got Karthik Chandra Patnaik message is being retrieved from the program file and it is printed. Hence, that is something like a throws keyword. Okay, so this is done. If you watch out properly here, I have kept two exceptions: file not found and IO exception. Generally, in real time, these two doesn't require. If I am using only this one, I have to call this exception. If I am using both exceptions, file not found and IO, you can keep IO exception only by removing this file not found, because IO exception is a parent class of file not found. Hence, if you keep only IO exception, it automatically includes file not found. But if you use only file not found, it will not include IO exception. So you can even remove this particular exception here and also from here. That might result the same kind of output with no change, because IO exception is an parent class of file not found exception. What is the proof? If you want me to show, I just show you here. Java p space java dot IO dot file not found exception. Then see, the file not found exception is an class. Observe here, extends keyword, say IO exception. Hence, I can say this file not found is an subclass of IO exception. So if I extend this particular thing, no need of using this again. Okay. Here in this program we have learned a lot of things. One is parent class subclass and another one is exception propagation. This is called exception propagation. In this method, since I have thrown this exception, the same exception is to be thrown at parent class also, because this exception will be propagated from the method which it is called. This method is called from the main method. Hence, main method also should propagate this exception. That's it. Like I say that a software which is installed at server side should also need to be installed at client side to have proper communication between client and server. That is called software propagation. Hope you understood the throws keyword. Let us quickly move to the throw keyword. So what is the throw keyword? Throw is a keyword which again handles exception and which is used to throw an exception as an object. Or I can say that throw is actually used for throwing exception explicitly. throwing an exception is the main motive of what? Throw. If a simple example, if you want me to say that, simply say throws a runtime exception or throw any kind of exception. What is syntax is? Syntax is throw space new space exception name. It can be any kind of exception. So throw generally is an keyword which is used as exception handler through throw exception as an object, and it is generally used for throwing exception explicitly, not implicitly. Means if you want to throw exception forcibly or intentionally, then use the keyword called throw. We just take an example here, notepad space throw demo dot java. So class throw demo and say public static void main string args. I'll take a simple example to understand here. So try to take this example, take two values here, say int x equals to say args of 0, try to convert that into integer, saying that integer dot parse int of args of 0, and same just copy and paste integer y here equals to args of 1, and I just want to do an operation called int z equals to x by y. X by y such that the value of x and y should be a positive values or negative values, but x can be 0 and y shouldn't be 0. So I should write a condition here saying that if if y is something which is not equal to 0, if y not equal to 0, the condition is good and no problem for that. So I can simply say that as say int some z equals to x by y, and I can simply print here system dot out dot print line of z. But if y is 0, then I just want to throw an exception here saying that throw new arithmetic exception. Throw new arithmetic exception, because this is the best example to say that divide by 0. Whenever the value of y is 0, then obviously it will throw an exception called arithmetic, and I want to write a message inside this, a constructor to write a message. So arithmetic exception is an class, and write a message here saying that divide by 0 exception is raised. Okay, done. When I done this, let's try to run the program and check how it look like. So java c space throw demo dot java and java space throw demo, and look at here, it shows me, oh, I did not pass the values, sorry. First pass the values here, say 5 comma 2, no worries, I got 2 as output because both are non-zeros. When I say 5 comma 0, then see here I got an exception saying that, what is this, arithmetic exception, divide by 0 exception is raised. This is exception that is raised, but this is an wanted kind of message a user doesn't want to see. User want to see some kind of message saying that a denominator cannot be 0, some kind of message, or divide by 0 exception is raised. Okay, okay, fine. So how to print only this message? Print only this message, not complete exception stack. To do that, here just try to keep a try catch block and print a message when the exception is raised. Example, so I just keep a try catch block here say try, and keep the complete stuff into try catch, the try block. Catch what exception? If it is an arithmetic exception, then I just want to print the message. Okay, so system dot out dot print line. What message we want to print? I just want to print a message called divide by 0 exception is right. This is the message I just want to print. To print that message, this particular message can be printed using an object called AE. AE is an object of arithmetic exception. So I can say that AE dot get message. Get message is a method of an exception class which is used to print the message which I pass into the exception. Okay, even though you don't pass this message, it will print the default message. Okay, I just show you no worries. Just run it again and look demo.java and say 5 and 0. See, the output is divide by 0 exception is raised. Okay, I just use a keyword called throw. Throw is a keyword which is used to throw an exception explicitly without creating a separate kind of a class. See, throw space new space object. I can even do in another way by saying that instead of I remove this, say arithmetic exception space AE, a normal way of object creation. Say new arithmetic exception, same like constructor like thing. This object I have created, say arithmetic exception space object equals new arithmetic exception, and you can simply say that throw AE. This is another way I can call. Of course, you can find same result. Run it again, you can find the same result. Okay, if you don't pass any kind of message here, say for example remove this message with no message is passed into constructor. This is a constructor, as you all know. Now what message I'll get here? Just try to see. I'll get a default message for the arithmetic exception. What is that? A null. As of course we got null because no message is created. By default message, actually we'll get that if you don't use throw keyword. If you don't use any kind of throw keyword, I may get a default message. Since I use throw keyword, means I only created an exception here. Since I created the exception, so it took the default constructor. Always try to pass a message denominator something. Denominator should not be 0. Okay, just try to compile it again and check the denominator should not be 0. Done. This is a good example of throw keyword. We again see the same throw keyword usage when we work on the concept like user defined exception concept. Hope you enjoyed today's class, the throws and throw keyword. Next video we'll look into the user defined exception and assertions concept. Thank you for the patience.